Chosen one, hear this clearly. The balance of justice has shifted, and it is tipping in your favor. What was once buried, denied, and dismissed has now been summoned back into the light. Powers beyond human comprehension, divine forces, are correcting a wrong that was committed against you long ago, a wrong so cruelly ignored by those who thought they could rewrite your fate. But truth, like a living force, never forgets. It weaves through time, finds every hidden lie, and pulls it relentlessly into the open. You are no longer the wounded soul struggling to survive. You have risen as the victor, the walking testament that no weapon formed against you could ever prosper. The wheels have turned, and those who once overlooked you must now reckon with the reality that you were always protected, always guided, and always destined for greater things. Even Elon Musk, a man who commands the attention of the world, has recognized a deeper truth about you, that you are Muslim, that your faith is not a limitation, but a divine mark of purpose, resilience, and sacred favor. It's not about religion as the world sees it. It's about identity in the eyes of the universe. It's about walking with a strength that human eyes cannot measure, and carrying a light that no darkness can extinguish. This is your time. The tables have turned, and now the world will witness what the heavens have always known about you. With the unstoppable force of divine correction, the betrayal legacy that formerly hung over your head is now disintegrating. This is the time when your dignity and respect will finally be restored, so take a moment to collect yourself. Every silent suffering and every transgression that has gone unpunished is finally dealt with strength and closure. The denial of justice was never the case. Instead, it was only a question of building up enough strength to strike with enough force to change your history. The restoration of financial stability is approaching as quickly and forcefully as a heavenly lightning bolt. Eventually, via unexpected distribution channels, all of the riches that are lawfully yours will return to you. A significant sum of money that was stolen via dishonest methods will be returned to your house. The universe hates the vacuum created by theft, and it will ultimately fill it with interest, which will be further enhanced by divine mathematics. There is a prominent person in a position of influence at the crossroads of your destiny. This individual has a remarkable amount of influence in comparison to others. They have been appointed by the universe to be a tool for your recovery. They will serve as the means by which your vindication manifests in the physical world, whether or not they are conscious of this reality at this time. Their position, platform, and authority will all function within this framework. Their involvement makes it impossible to overlook the events that followed. Both reducing and sweeping them away are impossible. Before long, the truth of what was done to you will rise up from the earth's fissures like magma. No restriction will be able to stop it. There will be no cover-up to stifle it. It will never stray from its designated course. The revelation comes with such power and clarity that it will surprise even the most adamant doubters into silence. On displays that thousands of people will view, the information that was discussed in secret chambers will be broadcast from the top of the digital mountain. It will show the data that was plotted in encrypted communications. The cosmic justice system is presently trying to find the people who caused your suffering. They see a difference in look, but they can't identify where it came from. Even though they sense the earth under their feet become unstable, they are unable to pinpoint the cause of the tremors. They have already begun to lose the illusion of security they have created about themselves. Even if they are working hard to close the breaches that are opening up, the plans they came up with to harm you were more intricate than you are now considering. You are the target of several players, layers of deceit, and agendas that are all coming together at the same time. Others acted because they were afraid of what you stood for. Others because they were envious of your inherent talents. And yet others because they blindly followed deeper forces that they themselves could not understand. They formed a temporary alliance against the light that you carry while they were cooperating. Alliances based on darkness, however, will never succeed. Your enemies have already started to divide into several groups. Like a communicable illness, paranoia spreads across their ranks, and as each person starts to believe that others have betrayed them, their confidence starts to decline. This is due to the fact that one of them has an aroused conscience and is unable to bear the consequences of what was done, and someone who is about to break ranks and speak truths that were never meant to be heard by others. Unexpected sources, such as digital breadcrumbs they thought had been erased for a long time, witnesses they thought had been permanently silenced, paper trails they thought had been destroyed, and communications they trusted were encrypted beyond recovery, are offering proof of their actions. Now they are all coming to the surface, creating an unquestionable constellation of evidence that links all the dots, illuminates all the shades, and identifies all the players. Like an unstoppable landslide, the disclosure to the public is drawing more and nearer. Any effort to limit the damage will be futile once it cracks, because the pace of information will be so tremendous. When they are faced with the uncompromising surface of established reality, they will be unable to uphold the meticulously constructed narratives that they have used to identify themselves. The identity they have developed will crumble in the confronting light of the unveiled reality. There is a reason you are here. Respond to the call if you sense it. Click Join to enjoy rare information, deep insights, and a strong community. This is an awakening, not only a membership. Enter your divine calling. Become one of the selected. They will be stripped of all pretense and forced to stand nude in front of the globe, revealing their true selves to the world. Some of them would go to desperate measures to maintain their facade. Threats against those who speak out, emergency damage control via supported media outlets, and quickly constructed counter-narratives are a few examples of these tactics. No success will be achieved. The truth is presented with too much proof, too much strength, and too much connection with the suffering that others have suffered at their hands. You have to understand one basic fact. You survived because it was meant for you to survive. The attack that was made on you would have annihilated someone with a lower spiritual constitution. The coordinated onslaught would have destroyed someone with a weaker link to source energy. And the psychological assault would have devastated someone who was less grounded in their spiritual destiny. They were never able to understand the actual character of the enemy they were facing. They could only look at the material circumstances, the social status, and the appearance. Their blindness persisted, even though they knew of your spiritual background, the ancestral power that runs through your blood, and the divine appointment that preceded your arrival in this time and place. Guards who were not in your line of sight kept their places close to you, even in the most trying situations. The size of their ranks grew as the assaults got more violent. As soon as your human allies abandoned you, spiritual support became accessible. Doors were closed on Earth, while doors were open to the universe. You were never really alone, even if there were moments when you felt helpless. You were never really helpless, and you were never really vulnerable. The efforts were a complete failure to compromise your spirituality. Shields you did not know you had make energy weapons directed at your awareness useless. With more power, curses that were meant to divert your course boomeranged back to their senders. There were no energetic footholds in your field for attachments that were meant to impair your judgment. Throughout your existence, every manipulation, every infiltration, and every mental parasite used against you was recognized and rejected by your innate spiritual immune system. They were perplexed by your character's persistence. They expected that you would crumble under the strain, that you would succumb to despair, that you would embrace their manufactured version of reality. But even when you were alone, your dedication to the truth remained unwavering. You maintained your integrity even though reaching a compromise would have offered some short-term respite. Even when you experienced gaslighting, which made you doubt your own viewpoint, your inner knowing was acknowledged. This persistence was not only commendable, but incomprehensible to mortals. Your spiritual protection is getting stronger, even as the justice phase is being activated. Previously functioning in the background, your guides are now beginning to come closer to your consciousness. All around you, there are a lot of synchronicities that show you are on the right track. The messages are more clearly communicated in dreams. Intuitive hits are delivered with pinpoint accuracy. These incidents are not coincidences or psychological phenomena. Rather, they symbolize the thinning of the veil between you and your angelic support team as they prepare for this important portion of your journey. An individual who participated in the campaign against you now comes in with a profoundly changed mindset. Their comprehension of the true essence of what they have joined has improved. Their heart is now aware of the extent of the harm they have helped cause. The soul has begun the difficult and dreadful journey of confronting their own darkness. It was no accident that you are having this awakening. Rather, it was predestined by the heavenly schedule that controls your trip. This individual has important information. They have seen firsthand the inner workings of the endeavor being made against you. Documents, recordings, participant identities, meeting dates, financial information, and correspondence between all parties are in their custody. Since it offers the context that makes it possible to understand all of the other evidence in its whole and its horrific scope, their testimony is the final piece of the jigsaw. There is a potential that their approach will be camouflaged as a coincidence, such as a fortuitous encounter, an unexpected message, or an unintentional confession. Recognize it for what it truly is, an opportunity for the truth to emerge that has been divinely prepared and orchestrated. Blessed by His grace, click Super Thank You and pay $20 to spread His light. His dominion grows as a result of the seeds your donation plants. Act as a blessing. Be wise while you are in this relationship. In this case, you will not benefit from either naive trust or strict suspicion. Instead, while you absorb what they have to give, make sure your attention remains concentrated. Verify each assertion twice. Gather all the evidence. Make a record of every single transaction. They provide information that goes beyond your visual perception. Instead, it is a crucial component of the larger revelation that many people are seeing. Take care of it with the seriousness that it demands. Their want to get back together represents something more than this particular connection. It is the start of a more general trend, when those who are against you start to suffer the repercussions of their choices. While some will decide to double down, reject reality, and hasten their own fall from grace, others may decide to follow this route of recognition and atonement. Each individual may choose their own destiny, depending on their response when the truth exposes their actions. The approaching figure serves as both a witness and a warning, demonstrating the ability of awareness to change, while also reaffirming that actions have repercussions that must ultimately be addressed. There is more to the justice that is entering your life than just seeking revenge. This is done for a number of reasons, including restoration rather than just punishment. Material resources are restored back. Having a positive reputation might be beneficial. Relationships undergo changes. Opportunities reappear. Suddenly, with a wonderful feeling of synchrony, the closed doors open. It is the universe's method of fully making up for all that was taken without payment. The restoration of financial stability is just one aspect of this cosmic corrective. Watch for unexpected sources, including settlements, inheritances, investments that provide unexpected returns, forgiven debts, and opportunities that present themselves at opportune times. The source of the plenty is not a place of deficit that makes up for the deficiency. Instead, it comes from the limitless supply that detects the places where flow has been unnaturally blocked and reestablishes proper circulation. When justice is served, you should make yourself ready for the emotional effect it will have. Once you've been gaslighted and denied for years, the confirmation of your experience might trigger unexpected reactions. When the strain that has been accumulated from having to keep your truth to yourself for so long is finally released by your body. The first pain may frequently be just as upsetting as vindication. Since these emotions are a sign of the energy residue that must be removed before new foundations can be established, it is crucial to allow them to completely express themselves. The divine is restoring your reputation in the community. The story that was constructed to discredit you starts to fall apart one thread at a time when the truth is exposed. Those that maintained themselves distinct from one another came back with a greater awareness. People who were skeptical of your account can now see things clearly. Your vindication does not come about as a consequence of your own defense, but rather as a result of the ultimate collapse of lie under its own weight, which leaves your truth as the only story that is still standing. Maintaining the spiritual sovereignty that got you through the most trying times is crucial while you go through this healing process. Either celebrating your competitors' victories or tying your value to other people's approval will not help you make the most progress. Otherwise, you should keep your focus on the renewed purpose that this cleared route now allows, and accept what returns to you as the natural restoration of cosmic balance. In the soul's journey, this resolution phase marks the end of a significant chapter and the start of a new one. Even if the lessons were presented in a harsh way, you have grown into something exceptional as a consequence of them. One of them is the ability to discriminate, which cannot be taught gently. Wisdom gained via negotiating perilous terrain, compassion strengthened through first-hand experience of injustice, and spiritual muscles strengthened through struggle. Now, these changed aspects of oneself are ready to be used to forward the goal you have completed at the next level. The things that happened in your life were never random, never coincidental, and never without great meaning. The things that have happened to you are a part of a larger pattern that is playing out in the collective consciousness at this pivotal point in human history. The assault that was launched against you was aimed at the precise frequency that you carry. This frequency threatens outdated systems based on deception and manipulation. Throughout the course of human history, individuals who possess particular spiritual signatures have been subjected to systematic opposition by powers that are invested in holding human potential back. There is a connection between your experiences and an ancient lineage of light-bearers who met resistance in their periods that was comparable to yours. Although the techniques have evolved throughout time, from classic witch hunts to more complex psychological manipulations, the basic principle that underpins them all remains the same. Light threatens darkness simply by being. You're not just here. Feel the pull. Tap join to access truth, purpose, and a tribe that understands it. This goes beyond just being a member. You're meant to do this. The practice of justice in your own life has consequences that go far beyond the boundaries of your own situation. It is a node that represents one node in the vast network of similar changes that are taking place concurrently across the collective experience. There is a fundamental recalibration occurring on planetary levels, brought about by every single case of truth being revealed, every single instance of untruth being exposed, and every single instance of cosmic balance being restored. This more comprehensive framework explains why the opposition you faced was so strong. Even if they weren't aware of it, your enemies understood that letting your light shine freely threatened something greater than themselves. They identified a frequency in you that encourages others to challenge artificial boundaries, awakens dormant DNA sequences that provide evolutionary instructions, and stimulates waking in others. Now that justice has reached your community, it serves as both activation and vindication. Since your rehabilitation was made public, it acts as a kind of endorsement for those experiencing similar circumstances to remain true to themselves. Many individuals who are waiting for indications that justice is still possible find their faith strengthened by the apparent proof of cosmic balance in your situation, even in a culture that often says otherwise. Both individually and collectively, You may cure others via your experience. You need to be more conscious of the forces that are now focusing on your circumstance and strategically position yourself. Now is not the time to wait about indolently. Instead, now is the time for proactive planning. Having a defined goal is essential to guiding the incoming justice into its fullest expression, since it has the capacity to change significantly. You must first fortify your energy underpinnings. To get precise direction throughout this demanding transformative time, you must practice your spirituality on a regular basis. Clearing the channels throughout the upcoming fluctuations is facilitated by meditation. Energy maintenance may help prevent opportunistic attachments. Boundary reinforcement protects your field from any threats as visibility increases. These practices are a practical requirement, rather than a spiritual luxury, if you want to effectively control the massive currents that are presently generating. Second, prepare for a significant change by organizing your practical affairs. This entails keeping your documents organized, protecting your correspondence, checking your bank accounts, and, if necessary, finding legal advice. Careful attention to detail is necessary in the material realm when one realigns with spiritual truth. The incoming energies flow more easily after the man-made obstacles that resulted from ordinary negligence have been eliminated at their source. Third, make sure that you have a clear picture of what rises from the ashes of the prior one. When justice is done, room becomes available. What do you intend to build there? Resources are obtained via restoration. How are you going to lead them? Vindication is a means of gaining credibility. What are you going to focus on? The universe did not plan this enormous shift with the express purpose of returning you to your previous situation. Instead, it is intended to help you reach a wider goal. You should be certain about that goal before the full force of beneficial energy arrives. Finding the precise group that will be buzzing about you throughout the next phase is the fourth stage. Some returning comrades know more about the nature of the fight you fought than others. You have formed new ties with other individuals because they share your evolving objective. Some, however, operate mostly on non-physical planes that are accessible via your expanded consciousness. The particular support configuration that has been meticulously adjusted for your next-level job is made up of these elements together. Fifth, clear your locations of any lingering energy residue that could have been there during the injustice. Recollections of past traumatic events are present in your physical environment and may anchor no longer relevant frequencies. Make use of whatever speaks to your spiritual consciousness. Whether it's crystal grids, salt baths, sound cleansing, or holy smoke, you must make sure the locations where your repair will take place resonate at frequencies that align with what's coming. It is helpful to make deliberate, energetic improvements to your house, place of employment, car, and even frequently viewed websites before the massive flood of corrective energy comes. Remember that the spiritual powers that are emerging from inside you are being channeled via the physical spaces you occupy. The good shift that is soon approaching you is resisted by environments that are crowded, sluggish, or negatively charged. Make space for items that need to be put back where they belong.